Hey everyone, Slambo here, hopping on another thread, this one for Bill Vinyl Lists. He asked us to find tracks in our collection that relate to, or that mention, either tracks or records that mention, or band names, that mention element names from the periodic table. He was kind of missing something at the end of his request video, mentioning that there was one song that just basically sings all of the elements. I'm a comedy collector. Of course I have that. That's Tom Lehrer singing The Elements. This is the 1959 recording An Evening Wasted with Tom Lehrer. This is the recording that made that song famous. And rather than go through the periodic table by number or by element number, I'm going to go through it in the same order as is on that song. So it starts off. There's antimony, arsenic, aluminum, selenium. Well, I don't have antimony. Arsenic, I've got a copy of the movie Arsenic and Old Lace starring Alec Guinness, but I just couldn't find it when I was looking through our tapes today. However, for aluminum, I've got Bare Naked Ladies on their album Everything to Everyone. There's a song on here called Aluminum. Going on to the next line of the verse, we've got and hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and rhenium. I don't have any of those. The next line is and nickel, neodymium, neptunium, germanium. Well, I have nickel on one of my recent acquisitions. This is George Burns, I Wish I Was 18 Again. He sings a song on here called Nickels and Dimes. So George Burns for nickel. Next line in the song. And iron, americium, ruthenium, uranium. Well, there's a lot of things that have iron in it. I've got some train song recordings, and of course they mention the Iron Horse, but I'm going to show Phil Oakes from his album I Ain't Marching Anymore. This is one that my parents had when I was growing up, and there's a song on here called Iron Lady. So there's iron. Let's see, in the next lines, the next two lines I don't have anything, but he says europium, zirconium, lutetium, vanadium, and lanthanum, and osmium, and astatine, and radium. And then the next line I've got something, and gold, protactinium, indium, and gallium. Well, I've got gold on Cheech and Chong, their self-titled record, Cheech and Chong. There's a track on here called Acapulco Gold Filters. I think you can imagine what kind of filters he was talking about there. Let's see, next line in the song, it goes on to, and iodine, and thorium, and thulium, and thallium. I was hoping I would have something for iodine, but I looked back at the record, and even though the track I'm thinking of is all about a sales pitch for iodine and making it sexy for the advertising, it doesn't say iodine in the track title or anywhere on the album, so I couldn't use it. That's also from another recent acquisition. That was the Von Meter Have Some Nuts record that I got on my birthday. Continuing on in the song, there's yttrium, ytterbium, actinium, rubidium, and boron, gadolinium, niobium, iridium, and strontium, and silicon, and silver, and samarium. And here we pause because I've got silver, double silver even. There's Shel Silverstein. And there's a song on Where the Sidewalk Ends called The Silver Fish. So a bit of a double on that one. Song continues, and bismuth, bromine, lithium, beryllium, and barium. There's holmium and helium and hafnium and erbium and phosphorus and francium and fluorine and terbium and manganese and mercury, molybdenum, magnesium. I wonder how he sung that so fast. I'm going to kind of cheat on mercury. Mercury Records was the top label that the Smothers Brothers put out their recordings on. I've got a lot of Mercury Records in my collection, especially Smothers Brothers, so I had to get the Smothers Brothers in there somehow, so there they are. The song continues. Dysprosium and scandium and cerium and cesium and lead, praseodymium and platinum and plutonium. Well, I've got two in that last line. The first one is more how it's spelled. Again, most people are doing lead spelled as, or pronounced as lead in the song title. And that's what I'm doing here too. I've got Eric Clapton Journeyman. There's a song on here called Lead Me On. And the other I've got in that line is Platinum. I've got a CD of Sesame Street songs called Platinum 2. T-O-O and not T-W-O. This one has a whole lot of the songs that I grew up with watching on Sesame Street. So continuing on with the song, Palladium, Promethium, Potassium, Polonium. Well, a lot of people have palladium, and I do too. Mine is on Lenny Bruce, the real Lenny Bruce. There's a track on here called Comic at the Palladium. So the Palladium was a well-known venue for concerts and shows. The song continues, and tantalum, technetium, titanium, tellurium, and cadmium, and calcium, and chromium, and curium. There's sulfur, californium, and fermium, berkelium, and also mendelevium, abstinium, nobelium, and argon, krypton, neon, radon, xenon, zinc, and rhodium. And I'm going to stop there because I've got neon on a Ken Lundquist double CD. This is a local artist who here in Madison. There's a song on here called... let's see, look at back at my notes here, called Neon Green. So this is an album mostly of children's type songs. Ken Lundquist is known as a children's song artist. So that's a fun one. And the line or the song ends, the last line, and chlorine and carbon and cobalt and copper. Well, not quite the last line. There's the penultimate line. Copper, I've got on this double album of Johnny Carson, from The Tonight Show. There's a track on here called The Copper Capers. And the very last line of the elements, where he actually sings the elements' names, are tungsten, tin, and sodium. And the track that I've got there is for tin, but I was not able to find my copy of the CD. I've got it marked in my collection as having it. I remember seeing it. I remember cataloging it. I just could not find it. The track I'm pointing out on this one is the Brian Setzer Orchestra on the album The Dirty Boogie. The first track on it is This Cat's on a Hot Tin Roof. So I showed you the first bonus of The Elements song by Tom Lehrer. I've got one other bonus because you said we were able to show some compounds and something based on, or one track at least, based on the chemical symbols. There's one that I've got on my on a bunch of tapes that I recorded off the radio of Kate and Anna McGarrigle. This song was published on their album Pronto Monto. Its title is actually NaCl, which is sodium chloride. And it's all about an atom of sodium and an atom of chlorine getting together to make salt. So, but the one I could find, Judy Garland from Golden Greats, a compilation of almost all of her famous recordings. There is a track on here called On the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe, and Fe is the chemical symbol for iron. I know I've used iron below, but that was the first one that came to mind when you mentioned chemical symbols as well. So there we have it. Those are the elements based on The Elements song by Tom Lehrer. Reading through that. The song ends with one more line, and I don't have it down in my notes here because where I grabbed the lyrics off of the internet, they didn't have that line either. These are the only ones for which news has come to Harvard. There may be many others, but they haven't been discovered. Bum, 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 bum. So that's what I got today. See you next time.